Please welcome Michael and Chris. Thank you. All right, Michael, so we're going to ask you first. Our conversation started with COVID, and how did that impact your operations and what was going on with your mission at Penn Medical?
So first, thanks for the opportunity to join the group here. COVID was transformational for many industries, probably for most of you also, but healthcare was specifically transformational in that not only did we have to react to it, but we were all the epicenter for treating patients that would come in and needed to adjust rapidly. And rapidly meant pretty much shutting down many services, predominantly elective type events, and many of our clinics, and beginning to react to the pandemic itself and setting up unique settings in order to treat patients. Often in parking lots, not your normal standard location for care, which then involved the opportunity to put in new networks, new communication devices, and new treatment patterns. So in many ways, we were flipped upside down, like many, almost overnight, and needed to rely on not only our application technologies, but also our network technology in order to keep sort of the world functioning, and in our case, at least Southeastern Pennsylvania functioning in many ways.
Yeah, you'd adapt to adding temporary capabilities to expand and take on this, massive changing need, and the technology had to go with you and drive that to ensure that continuity of support.
It absolutely did. In the middle of all this, we were building our new patient pavilion, which is about 500 beds, spans 2 football fields right in downtown Philadelphia. And that was in the middle of COVID, and trying to work the logistics of outfitting that building with all the gear, whether it's medical equipment, networking equipment. If you remember back, and everyone forgets, just 3 years ago, there were restrictions on how many people could be in a building and in a space at any given time. So trying to marry the delivery of equipment and the supply chain issues that were and extreme in that instance was fantastic, because we were competing with others to get the equipment so we could open the building on time. And fortunately, all worked out pretty well. But it was really challenging times, and it takes really significant group of partners to make all that happen and open on time and in a quality manner. So we thank you for that.
Yeah, and thank you for delivering on that mission for everybody there. So, Chris, changing gears a little bit, does it make you cringe sitting in an MLB building, or it's just, I don't know. I mean, maybe, or it could be a wonderful thing. It's like, oh, these guys are just down the street. We don't really compete. But for the NHL, we talk a lot about fan experience. So how's your fan experience changed over the last 3 years, really, COVID to now?
So we sell tickets, and we always say that regardless if you're an avid fan or a casual fan, when you get to a game, that is the greatest experience that you can have. It's camaraderie, you're high-fiving, but just to see the players up close, it's really important for us. And so we think that we can convert you a lot easier if you have a great experience. The truth is, it's a different experience in the actual arena versus at home when you're watching TV. You're somewhat at a disadvantage, right? Because you don't have the instant replay, you don't have the commentary. So with that, we need technology to make that experience better for you. You're paying a heck of a lot of money to come to a game, and we don't want to have you at a disadvantage. We want you to come back. So it's important for us for everyone to have access, through their phone, to be able to take their selfie and say, look at me, check me out, I'm at the game. But everything else that we're doing, from, gambling, right? That is a very low latency type of business that every single of our 32 clubs have gravitated towards. So we need networks to provide that great experience for fans. And so, we had the opportunity to partner with Extreme. They came in right kind of pre-pandemic, and but we looked at the pandemic as an opportunity, right? We weren't selling tickets, people weren't in the arenas, but that was your chance to sort of upgrade the experience, because when everyone came back, we needed it to be a much better experience than what they remembered.
Yeah, and the NHL, as you talked about in the video, continues to evolve its experience. So streaming, just different ways to touch different audiences. And you had something really cool happen just a couple of weeks ago where all teams played in one day. And it was every 15 minutes a new game started. So just some differences in programming. And as I drill down a little bit on the analytics and insight that we provide. So Nabila talked about our analytics systems. The NHL is using that across multiple venues. So you're seeing some unique things. What are some of the unique things that you're able to see?
So it's real time. Another problem we have is that we don't always know who's in the arena at any given point in time. So Ticketmaster sells tickets. We have a bunch of ticket partners, and people pass tickets along. They send them to each other. So the ability to market to people in real time is really important. And sitting there and understanding what they're doing at any given point in time. People like me sit in the office and we're sports fans, so we think we understand exactly. But when you actually get to the data and see, we marry up the events, goals, hits, saves with inflection points with the network traffic, and are able to see what happens when a goal is scored. Does traffic go through the roof? Are people go out there, they're sending pictures and saying, hey, check this out? They are. We see social media as a big driver, and obviously gambling. I mentioned that. So every one of our clubs at this point has an authorized gambling partner. I think what's interesting is, on a sponsorship side, to have the knowledge and understanding of fans, who they're using, who people are betting through, and oftentimes it's not the authorized partner. Oftentimes it's not the legal partners that are registered in that particular state. So those kinds of points of data that we didn't necessarily have can be very useful for a sales and sponsorship team. I'm not even going to touch on the operational elements of, how to make it easier to get a hot dog or to come in and out of the arena, right? Those are some of the kind of advanced analytics that I think some of our clubs are diving deeper into as we go on.
Yeah, and just to build on that, we see that in baseball. We also see it in the NFL, where the organizations are able to utilize the analytics systems to understand if people are violating, gambling rules, whether it's illicit gambling or actually spotters. So there's spotters in every game. Shouldn't be a surprise, but you can actually track where that spotter is, what their behavior is, and that becomes very important as this monetization avenue continues to evolve within sports here in the U.S. Michael, back to you. In terms of the evolving mission, the mission that you had, prior to COVID was all healthcare, and then we added a pandemic, and things changed, and that impacted your ability to generate business and be able to reinvest. And so that was a huge impact in healthcare, where elective surgeries weren't happening, all these things. Going forward, that mission is now dual. So can you talk to that for a moment?
Sure. I think what's really great about instances like this is meet people like Chris, and you learn that his customers are called fans. Our customers are called patients. We're all fans, we're all patients. And it's pretty cool that we need a mechanism to digitally engage with them in some way, shape, or form. And from my perspective as CIO, really what my end users look for, whether they're physicians, nurses, therapists, administrators, they want resiliency, they want reliability in the network, and they want instantaneous speed. Our industry in healthcare is characterized by statements like stat orders and stat results and 911. So it's instantaneous. You don't want to be a patient and have your physician say, hey, get the results, the data to you in a few hours later or days later. You want it like that. And so the right data for the right patient, to the right clinician, at the right time in the right location is really our 5 rights of data that we strive for in trying to push forward. And whether it was through COVID, where we got diverted a little bit, or now post-COVID, where like many industries, there's this pent-up demand where people just didn't come into the hospitals. They couldn't come into the hospitals for a period of time. They couldn't see their physician for a period of time. Now they're just coming through at record levels. And it's up to us to meet that demand and further digitally engage, either through their patient portals or through images being shared electronically through the networks in that type of that world. But it has really elevated in recent days and recent years, and we're prepared for it. And in order to do that, you know, we say every project in IT is people, process, and technology, and it's the right people, the right processes through the supply chain, and certainly the technology has enabled a lot of our advancements in digital engagement.
Yeah, and Chris, you know, same to you in terms of what people learned a lot about during COVID with sports is that when you have an empty arena, it's tough to run a business. So all the innovation of hey, people coming back, what can we do to continue to build on that? What else can we be doing? And just some of your thoughts there.
I did not get a bonus during the pandemic. Beyond that, yeah, no, it's the camaraderie with fans, and I think the connection between them. I think the idea that you don't know who the person is sitting next to you, but you still have that kinship is important. And there's a human connection, but mostly it's technology, and people are communicating with everybody outside of the arena, all their friends, their family. Social media is it's huge for our business without a doubt. So not having, you know, I won't say it's critical when I'm sitting next to Penn Medical here that the networks are up. It's a different kind of critical, right? And I think, again, getting people to re-engage, which means coming back and buying tickets again. They want to walk away saying that was an experience like none other, and we need to deliver to them. It's you know, there's so many different entertainment opportunities. Sitting at home and watching Netflix, we compete with that. Competing with Major League Baseball, competing with everything that you do, going out with your wife for dinner, right? These are all entertainment choices that you make, and you only have so much disposable income. So, you know, the technology aspect is really critical and crucial for everything that we're doing.
Great. So just closing thoughts for each of you. Michael, you know, why Extreme?
So it goes back to the people, process, technology. In really challenging times, we need to lean on partners that could truly deliver and understood our business and the challenging times we were going through, and to outfit that new pavilion. And we have 6 hospitals, but this was a brand new pavilion. It's billed as one of the most technology advanced facilities in the world. But to get the equipment in place in time, in a partnership mode, was really second to none. And that's what we value in our partners.
Thank you, Chris.
So for us, we have 32 clubs. They don't all own their own arenas. Talking to the right folks is really important. I think Extreme has proven that they know how to appeal to us in a very unique vertical. So they're able to gather the information, the analytics that are important to us, right? We want to sell tickets. We want to engage fans. It's different than Penn Medical and how they're treating their constituents and consumers. And I think they've proven that they're able to sort of bypass a couple of levels and get right to the point with the decision makers. That was impressive to us. We've seen in 2+ years now incredible growth with our clubs.